The condom was lime green, which seemed like an important detail at the time, like maybe the color mattered more than what it meant. I found it wedged under the passenger seat of my Honda Accord on a Wednesday morning, still in its wrapper, and my first thought was, my 15-year-old son is getting more action than me. My second thought was, when the hell did Tommy get in my car? My third thought, the one that came slower and colder, was, he didn't. I'm Jack Hayes, 42 years old, IT support specialist for a medical billing company in Columbus, Ohio. I troubleshoot software glitches and explain to doctors why admin23 isn't a secure password. Nothing about my life prepared me for finding prophylactics in my vehicle. Tommy hadn't borrowed my car in 3 weeks, had his learner's permit but preferred his mom's SUV because the Accord's clutch was garbage and made him look broke. His words, not mine. So whose condom was it? I sat there in the driveway, engine running, holding this stupid lime green wrapper, and felt something shift in my chest. Like when you're walking downstairs in the dark, and you think there's one more step but there isn't, and your foot hits nothing and your stomach drops. Anna came out of the house, phone pressed to her ear, laughing at something. She was wearing yoga pants and a tank top even though I knew for a fact she hadn't been to yoga in 6 months. Her hair was down, freshly styled, and she smelled like that expensive perfume I definitely hadn't bought her. "Jack, you're going to be late," she called out, barely glancing at me. I slipped the wrapper into my jacket pocket. "Yeah, heading out now." She waved absently and went back to her conversation, and I backed out of the driveway feeling like I'd just swallowed glass. At work, I couldn't focus. Kept thinking about that wrapper, about Anna's new perfume, about how she'd been networking a lot lately. She'd worked part-time as a real estate agent for the past 2 years, mostly showing houses to retirees looking to downsize. Flexible hours, she said. Time to pursue her own interests, she said. I pulled up our joint checking account on my phone during lunch. We kept separate accounts for discretionary spending, but shared one for household expenses. Mortgage, utilities, groceries, the usual. There were 3 ATM withdrawals in the past 2 weeks I didn't recognize. $200 each time, $600 cash, gone, with no explanation. I called her. "Hey babe, what's up?" Anna's voice was bright, cheerful. Background noise suggested she was in a car. "Quick question. Did you take out cash recently? Seeing some ATM withdrawals?" Pause. Brief, but there. "Oh yeah. Sorry, should have mentioned it. Been buying supplies for some open houses. You know how sellers get about credit card trails. $600 in supplies? Staging materials, gift baskets, that sort of thing. Why? Is there a problem?" Her tone had shifted, still friendly but with an edge, like I was being unreasonable for asking about our own money. "No problem," I said. "Just checking." "Okay, well, I'm showing a house right now, so yeah, go ahead. Talk later." She hung up before I finished the sentence. I sat in my car in the parking lot, eating a sandwich that tasted like cardboard, and thought about the condom, about the cash withdrawals, about how Anna had started wearing makeup to show houses and coming home late smelling like cigarettes even though she'd quit smoking 5 years ago. If I was dumber, maybe I'd believe the Facebook version of my life. Happy wife, good kid, stable job. Maybe I'd still believe her staging supply story. But I've spent 20 years troubleshooting problems, and I know when something's wrong with the system. That night at dinner, I decided to test the waters. "Tommy," I said, passing him the mashed potatoes, "you been in my car lately?" He looked up from his phone, confused. "Your car? No. Why?" "Just found something in there. Thought maybe you'd borrowed it." "What'd you find?" Anna's fork stopped halfway to her mouth. I watched her face, saw something flicker across it before she smoothed it away. "Nothing important," I said. "Probably from when I gave Rodriguez a ride last month." Anna relaxed, went back to eating. Tommy went back to his phone. I'd just done 2 things. First, I'd confirmed Tommy had no idea what I was talking about. Second, I'd given Anna a plausible explanation she could latch onto if she needed to, and she'd grabbed it like a lifeline. After dinner, she volunteered to do dishes. Anna never volunteered for dishes. While she was in the kitchen, I went through her purse, found her phone, locked with a passcode. Used to be our anniversary, 0715, but that didn't work anymore. Neither did Tommy's birthday or her mom's birthday. But I found something else. A business card from Mike's Auto Repair and Restoration with a phone number written on the back in Anna's handwriting and a lipstick kiss mark. Mike's Auto Repair. I knew that place. Sketchy garage off Route 23, the kind of place that advertised, "We fix anything," and definitely did more than just fix cars. I photographed the card with my phone and put it back. Anna came out of the kitchen, drying her hands. "You okay? You look pale." "Fine. Long day at work." She kissed my forehead. "Why don't you go relax? Watch your game or something." I went to the basement and pulled up Mike's Auto Repair on my phone. Website was basic, photos of a garage bay and some restored muscle cars. But the About Us section had a photo of the owner. Mike Jennings, early 40s, built like he spent quality time in a gym, wearing a tight black t-shirt that showed off sleeve tattoos. He had that blue-collar charm thing going, the kind of guy who probably called women darlin' and thought it was smooth, the kind of guy who'd have lime green condoms. I sat there in my basement, controller in my hand, game paused on the TV, and felt something cold settle into my gut. Not anger yet, just certainty. The same certainty I got when I diagnosed a system failure, when all the symptoms lined up and you knew exactly what was broken. My wife was sleeping with her mechanic. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Stephen King wrote that the scariest monsters are the ones you don't see coming, and I figured the same applied to betrayed husbands. Let her think I was oblivious. Let her get comfortable. Meanwhile, I started documenting everything. Thursday night, Anna said she had a late showing, left the house at 7, came home at 11:30 smelling like cigarettes and wearing smudged makeup. I was in bed pretending to be asleep when she slipped under the covers. Friday morning, I checked our cell phone account. Anna had been texting one number obsessively, 400 texts a month. I didn't recognize the number, but I bet I knew who it belonged to. I called the number from work, blocked my caller ID. It rang 4 times, then, "Mike's Auto, this is Mike." I hung up. My hands were shaking. I sat at my desk, staring at budget spreadsheets that meant nothing, and tried to process the fact that my wife of 17 years was texting some mechanic hundreds of times a month. How long had this been going on? I opened our credit card statements, started going back through months of charges looking for patterns. And there they were, once I knew what to look for. Charges at restaurants I'd never been to, a boutique hotel near the airport, just a parking fee. Gas station purchases on days Anna said she'd been home all day. Even a charge at Victoria's Secret for $140, and I sure as hell hadn't seen any new lingerie. The evidence had been there all along. I'd just been too stupid or too trusting to see it. My coworker Emily stuck her head in my office. "You coming to lunch?" "Not today. Got some personal stuff to handle." "Everything okay?" "Yeah, just, life." She gave me a sympathetic look and left. Emily was good people. Divorced herself 3 years ago, knew the signs of a marriage going sideways. I pulled up Google Maps and put in Mike's Auto Repair. 20 minutes from our house. Close enough for a lunch quickie. Far enough that Anna probably thought she was safe from being spotted by anyone we knew. I looked at my calendar. Nothing critical this afternoon. I could leave early, swing by the garage, see what there was to see. So that's what I did. Mike's Auto Repair was exactly what I expected. Concrete block building, 2 garage bays, a small lot out front with a handful of cars in various states of restoration. A faded sign promised, "Quality work, fair prices, no BS." I parked across the street at a gas station and waited. Anna's white SUV pulled into the lot at 4:15. She got out, checked her makeup in the driver's side mirror, then walked into the garage like she owned the place. Not through the office entrance. Through the bay door, like she'd been there 100 times before. I sat there with my hands on the steering wheel, watching the open bay door, and tried to decide what to do. Barge in? Confront them? Take photos? Then Mike walked out of the bay. He was wiping his hands on a rag, wearing coveralls unzipped to show that same tight black t-shirt. He said something over his shoulder, and Anna appeared behind him, laughing. He pulled her close and kissed her. Not a peck. A full-on, hands-on-her-ass, tongue-down-her-throat kiss that lasted long enough for me to take a dozen photos with my phone. When they broke apart, Anna said something I couldn't hear, and Mike laughed. Then she got back in her SUV and drove away. Mike watched her go, that satisfied smirk on his face, then lit a cigarette and went back inside. I sat there for another 20 minutes, hands shaking, trying to breathe normally. Then I drove home, parked in the driveway, and went inside like nothing had happened. Anna was in the kitchen making dinner. "Hey, babe, how was work?" "Fine, boring, the usual." "I just got back from showing that property on Mill Road. Couple seemed interested, fingers crossed." Another lie. Smooth as silk. "That's great," I said. "Hope it works out." I went upstairs, closed the bedroom door, and stared at the photos on my phone. Proof. Undeniable, unmistakable proof that my wife was cheating on me with some grease monkey from a sketchy garage. The old Jack Hayes would have confronted her right there, would have thrown the photos in her face and demanded answers. But something had shifted in me over the past few days. Something cold and calculating had woken up, the part of me that solved problems by taking them apart, piece by piece. Anna wanted to play games? Fine. I could play too. And I was going to win. That weekend, Anna announced she was going to a real estate conference in Cleveland. 2 days, Friday and Saturday, networking with other agents. "You sure you and Tommy will be okay without me?" she asked, packing her overnight bag with clothes I'd never seen before. "We'll manage," I said. "Might order pizza, watch some games. Guy weekend?" She kissed me goodbye Friday morning, and I watched her drive away, knowing exactly where she was going. Not Cleveland, probably some hotel with Mike, spending our money on cheap champagne and cheaper thrills. As soon as her SUV was out of sight, I went to the garage and got to work. See, the thing about being an IT guy is you learn to think systematically. You identify the problem, plan your response, execute with precision. This wasn't different, just more personal. I'd already researched Mike Jennings, found his Facebook page, which was mostly public because guys like him aren't smart about privacy settings. Saw photos of his prized possession, a 1969 Mustang Mach 1, candy apple red, fully restored, the kind of car he probably loved more than any woman. I drove to his garage late Friday night. Place was closed, locked up, but the car lot was visible from the street. And there it was, parked in the back corner, like a trophy. His baby. I parked 2 blocks away and walked back, wearing a hoodie, keeping my head down. Brought a bag with me. Nothing crazy, just some supplies. I didn't slash his tires or smash his windows. That's what amateurs do, what cops look for. Instead, I poured half a cup of sugar into his gas tank, poured brake fluid on his paint job, watching it bubble and eat through the clear coat. Used a screwdriver to scratch deep gouges along the passenger side. Nothing random, deliberate lines that spelled out, "Homewrecker." Then I superglued his door locks and walked away. The whole thing took maybe 10 minutes. Nobody saw me. No cameras, no witnesses, just a middle-aged IT guy vanishing into the night like a ghost. I went home, took a long shower, and slept better than I had in weeks. Anna came home Sunday afternoon glowing, literally glowing, like she'd spent the weekend at a spa instead of getting railed by her mechanic. "How was the conference?" I asked. Amazing, so many great connections. I really think this is going to boost my sales. That's great, babe. I'm happy for you. Tommy came downstairs, headphones around his neck. Hey, Mom. Jack and I ordered Chinese. There's leftovers if you're hungry. Jack. He'd started calling me Jack instead of Dad about 6 months ago. Teenage rebellion thing, Anna said. I wondered if he sensed something was wrong, if kids picked up on that kind of tension. I'm good, sweetie. Ate on the road. Anna hugged him, then headed upstairs. I'm going to unpack and take a shower. I waited until I heard the water running, then checked her phone. She'd left it on the kitchen counter, which was sloppy of her. Or maybe she thought I'd never look. 53 new texts from Mike. I couldn't read them without her passcode, but I could see the previews. Last night was incredible. Can't stop thinking about you. When can I see you again? I set the phone down and poured myself 3 fingers of bourbon, even though it was only 4 in the afternoon. Tommy looked at me. You okay? Fine, just tired. You've been weird lately. Weird how? He shrugged. I don't know, quiet, like you're thinking about something all the time. Smart kid. Too smart. Work stuff, I said. Nothing to worry about. He went back to his video game, and I went to my office and checked my email. There was a message from an anonymous Gmail account. Subject line, thought you should know. I opened it. Mr. Hayes, I don't know you, but I know your wife. My name is Lisa, and I used to work at Mike's garage as a receptionist. I quit 3 months ago because I got tired of covering for Mike's affairs. Your wife isn't the first married woman he's messed around with, and she won't be the last. He's got a pattern. He targets bored housewives, charms them, takes their money, then moves on when the next one comes along. I'm telling you this because the last wife he broke up didn't know until it was too late. She lost everything in her divorce. Don't let that be you. I read it 3 times, checked the sender's email. It was a burner account, created that day, but the message felt real. Too specific to be spam, too bitter to be fake. Mike had done this before. Anna was just another conquest. I forwarded the email to my personal account and deleted it from my work email. Then I sat there thinking about patterns and predators and how stupid I'd been to trust my wife. Monday morning I called in sick, told my boss I had food poisoning, which wasn't totally a lie. I felt sick, just not from food. I drove to Mike's garage at 10 a.m. The Mustang was still in the back lot, looking like someone had taken a sledgehammer to its pride. The paint was destroyed, the door handles dripping with dried superglue, and my homewrecker message was clearly visible even from the street. Mike was outside, screaming at someone on his phone. Even from across the street I could see he was furious. I smiled and drove away. That afternoon, Anna got a phone call that made her go pale. She stepped outside to take it, but I heard pieces through the window. What do you mean vandalized? Oh my God. No, I can't. Jack's home. Tonight? I'll try. When she came back inside, she looked shaken. Everything okay? I asked. Yeah, just one of my clients had some problems. Nothing major. You look upset. I'm fine. She forced a smile. Just need to handle some work stuff tonight. Might go out for a bit. At night? For work? Real estate doesn't sleep, babe. You know that. I knew a lot of things. Like how she was probably going to comfort Mike, tell him everything would be okay, maybe help him pay for repairs with our money. Sure, I said. I'll hold down the fort. She left at 8, and I followed her in Tommy's beat-up Civic that she wouldn't recognize. Watched her drive straight to Mike's garage, park in the back, run inside. Through the office window, I could see them. Mike pacing, gesturing wildly, Anna hugging him, trying to calm him down. They were in there for over an hour. When Anna finally came out, she looked tired, defeated. She got in her SUV and drove home. I gave her a 10-minute head start, then drove home myself. She was in the kitchen when I came in through the garage. Hey, where were you? Just went for a drive. Needed to clear my head. Everything okay? Yeah, just thinking. About what? I looked at her. This woman I'd been married to for 17 years, mother of my son, person I'd built a whole life with. She looked the same, acted the same, but she was a stranger now. Nothing important, I said. Just work stuff. She bought it, or pretended to. Hard to tell the difference anymore. The next few weeks were a slow-motion implosion. Anna kept seeing Mike. I kept documenting. Photos, bank statements, text message logs. I wasn't sure what I was building toward, just knew I needed evidence. Then I found out about the money. I was paying bills one night when I noticed our savings account was lighter than it should be. A lot lighter. I logged in and checked the transaction history. Anna had transferred $20,000 out of savings into her personal checking account. $20,000. Our emergency fund, the money we'd saved for Tommy's college, for our future. Gone. I called the bank, asked about the transfer. The representative confirmed it was legitimate, authorized with Anna's login credentials, executed 2 weeks ago. I hung up and sat there, staring at the computer screen, feeling something dark and cold spread through my chest. She'd stolen from us, from our son's future. To do what? Fund her affair? Help Mike fix his vandalized car? Buy more lime green condoms? I went upstairs. Anna was in bed, reading some romance novel, probably imagining herself as the protagonist. Hey, I said, keeping my voice casual. Quick question. Did you transfer money out of savings recently? She looked up, and I saw the calculation flash across her face. Oh, yeah. Should have mentioned it. Investment opportunity with one of my real estate friends. Short-term thing. We'll make it back with interest. $20,000? It's a good opportunity, Jack. Trust me. Who's the friend? You don't know her. Met her at that conference. Another lie. Smooth and easy. Okay, I said. Just would have been nice to discuss it first. That's our savings. And I'm investing it to make us more money. Isn't that what you want? For me to be ambitious? The gaslighting was almost impressive. She'd stolen from us and somehow made it about my lack of support for her ambitions. You're right, I said. Sorry. I'm sure it'll work out. I went back downstairs and transferred the remaining savings into an account she didn't have access to. Then I called a divorce attorney named Catherine Mills, who'd been recommended by a friend. I need to file, I told her. My wife's cheating, stealing money, and I need to protect myself and my son. Do you have proof of the affair? Photos, text logs, bank statements showing suspicious spending. Good. Ohio's a no-fault state, but evidence of dissipation of marital assets can help with property division. How much are we talking? 20,000 so far? Maybe more. She whistled. Okay, let's set up a consultation. Don't tell your wife anything yet. We need to move fast before she can hide more assets. I scheduled an appointment for Friday and hung up, feeling like I'd just activated a countdown timer. Thursday night, I drove past Mike's garage. The Mustang was gone, probably getting repaired. But there was another car in the lot I recognized, Anna's SUV. I parked and watched, waited. At 9:30, Mike's lights went out. Anna came out first, checking her surroundings like a criminal. Mike followed, locked up, then pulled her close for another one of those long, disgusting kisses. They stood there in the parking lot, groping each other like teenagers, and I took video this time. Clear, undeniable footage of my wife being unfaithful. When they finally separated, Anna got in her SUV. Mike got in a loaner car and followed her. I followed both of them. They drove to a cheap motel off I-71, the kind of place that rents by the hour and doesn't ask questions. Mike paid cash at the desk, and they went into room 114. I sat in my car across the street, watching the light behind the curtains, and tried to remember the last time Anna and I had been intimate. 3 months? 4? She'd been too tired or too stressed or too busy. but she had energy for this. I drove home at midnight, knowing she wouldn't be back until morning. She'd probably tell me she stayed late at a client's house, helping stage furniture or some other bullshit excuse. Tommy was still awake, playing video games in the living room. "Your mom's not home yet?" he asked. "Working late?" He gave me a look. "She's been working late a lot." "Yeah. You guys fighting or something?" "Why would you think that?" "I don't know. You barely talk anymore, and you're always pissed off." Smart kid. Too damn smart. "We're fine," I lied. "Just busy. Adult stuff." He went back to his game, and I went to bed alone, staring at the ceiling, planning my next move. Friday morning, I met with Catherine Mills. She was in her 50s, sharp suit, sharper eyes, the kind of lawyer who'd rip someone apart in court and sleep fine afterward. I showed her everything: the photos, the videos, the bank statements, the emails from Lisa. She went through it methodically, making notes. "This is good," she said finally. "Really good. We can file on grounds of adultery and dissipation of assets. You'll likely get majority share of remaining assets, possibly the house if we argue she violated the marital contract." "What about my son?" "He's 15. Court will consider his preference, and given the circumstances, if he wants to stay with you, that'll carry weight. Child support will depend on custody arrangements." "When can we file?" "I can have papers ready by Monday. We'll serve her at home. After that, everything moves fast." "Good," I said. "I'm done waiting." That weekend was surreal. Anna was home, playing perfect wife and mother, made breakfast Saturday morning, suggested we all go see a movie that night. Tommy was suspicious, but played along, and I pretended everything was fine. Sunday night, she announced she was going to another conference the following weekend. "Already?" I asked. "Didn't you just go to one?" "This is a different thing. West Virginia this time. Mountain resort. Really nice venue. Sounds expensive. Company's paying for most of it." Another lie. "I'll only be gone 2 nights. Whatever you think is best." She smiled and kissed my cheek, and I wondered how she could touch me so casually while planning to spend the weekend with another man. Monday morning, I left for work early. Catherine had arranged for a process server to deliver the divorce papers at 10 a.m. I was in a meeting when my phone started blowing up. 12 calls from Anna, 8 text messages. I ignored all of them. At lunch, I finally checked the texts. "What the hell is this? Did you file for divorce? Call me right now. You're making a huge mistake. We need to talk about this." I didn't respond. Catherine had advised radio silence. Let her panic. Let her scramble. Let her realize she'd lost control. By the time I got home, Anna's car was gone. So was Tommy, probably at a friend's house avoiding the drama. There was a note on the kitchen counter. "Gone to my mother's. We need to talk when I get back." I crumpled the note and threw it away. Then I went upstairs and started removing her stuff from our bedroom, boxed up her clothes, her jewelry, her toiletries, put it all in the garage. If she wanted a war, I'd give her one. Anna came back Wednesday with her mother in tow. Diane was a piece of work, always thought I wasn't good enough for her daughter, always made passive-aggressive comments about my job or my car or my family. They found me in the kitchen making dinner. "Jack, we need to talk," Diane said, in that imperious tone she used when she wanted to intimidate people. "Not sure what there is to talk about," I said, not looking up from chopping vegetables. "Papers were pretty clear." "This is insane," Anna said. Her eyes were red, probably from crying. "You can't just end our marriage without even discussing it." "Funny, you didn't want to discuss Mike before you started sleeping with him," Diane gasped. "What are you talking about?" "Oh, she didn't tell you?" I looked at Anna. "Go ahead. Tell your mom about your mechanic boyfriend. Tell her about the 20 grand you stole from our savings. Tell her about the motel rooms and the lies and the condoms in my car." Anna's face went white. "I don't know what you're—" "Don't!" I set down the knife and pulled out my phone. I have photos, videos, bank statements, everything. Your lawyer's going to see all of it. You've been spying on me? I've been documenting your affair. Big difference. Diane looked between us, processing. Anna, is this true? Anna's face crumpled. It's not what it sounds like. I made a mistake, but Jack's been distant for months. He never pays attention to me. So you fucked your mechanic and stole our money? That's your defense? Don't talk to my daughter that way, Diane snapped. Your daughter destroyed our marriage. I'm just dealing with the aftermath. Anna was crying now. Jack, please. We can work this out. Therapy, whatever you want. I'll end it with Mike, I promise. Just please don't do this. You should have thought about that before you betrayed me. What about Tommy? You're just going to break up his family? I'm not the one who broke up this family. Diane moved between us. Jack, be reasonable. Think about your son. Think about the life you built together. Everyone makes mistakes. Mistakes are forgetting anniversaries. This was calculated betrayal over months. She lied, she stole, she violated every promise she made me. I'm done being reasonable. Anna reached for my arm. Please. I love you. I messed up, but I love you. I pulled away. You don't love me. You love having a stable life while you screw around with someone exciting. But that's over now. You're going to regret this. The only thing I regret is not seeing who you really were sooner. Diane and Anna left, and I stood there in my kitchen, hands shaking, heart hammering, feeling simultaneously vindicated and hollowed out. Tommy came home an hour later. I heard yelling. Yeah, your mom and grandmother stopped by. How'd it go? About how you'd expect. He sat on the couch, controller in hand, but not turning on the game. So you're really getting divorced? Yeah. Good. I looked at him surprised. Good? She's been cheating on you, right? That's what this is about? How did you... I'm not stupid, Jack. I see things. The late nights, the new clothes, the way she's been acting. Plus, teenagers talk. One of my friends saw her making out with some guy at that garage on Route 23. Christ, even our son's friends knew. Yeah, I said. She's been cheating. Then yeah, good. You deserve better than that. Something in my chest loosened. Thanks, buddy. That means a lot. I'm staying with you after the divorce, just so you know. You don't have to decide. I already decided. She did this. She deals with the consequences. I sat next to him on the couch, and we watched TV without really watching it, two guys trying to process the end of a family. The next week was a blur of lawyer meetings and financial disclosures. Catherine was building a case that would eviscerate Anna in court. The affair, the stolen money, the lies. All of it documented, time-stamped, undeniable. Anna hired her own lawyer, some hotshot from downtown who specialized in protecting cheating spouses. They demanded mediation, offered to return half the money, suggested a 60-40 asset split. Catherine laughed at the offer. We're going for 70-30 minimum, maybe 80-20 if we pushed the dissipation angle. But I wasn't thinking about asset splits, I was thinking about revenge. See, the thing about guys like Mike is they're bullies. They prey on vulnerable people, take what they want, think they're untouchable. But bullies are cowards, and cowards break when you hit back. I'd already wrecked his car. Now it was time to wreck his life. I started making calls. First, to the Better Business Bureau, filing complaints about Mike's garage. Then to the Ohio Department of Commerce, suggesting they investigate his licensing. Then to every review site I could find, leaving detailed accounts of his unprofessional behavior. Within a week, Mike's auto repair had a 1-star rating online. Customers started canceling appointments. His reputation, built over years, was circling the drain. But I wasn't done. I contacted Lisa, the former receptionist who'd emailed me, asked if she'd be willing to talk about Mike's pattern of affairs. She said yes immediately, said she'd been waiting for someone to expose him. She gave me names. 3 other married women Mike had seduced in the past 2 years. I contacted all of them. 2 were divorced now. 1 was still trying to save her marriage. They all had stories, photos, evidence. I compiled everything into a dossier and sent it to Mike's landlord, his bank, his insurance company. Made sure everyone who did business with him knew exactly what kind of man he was. It took 2 weeks, but the results were devastating. Mike's garage lost its lease. His business accounts were frozen pending investigation. His reputation was destroyed. And Anna? She got to watch the man she'd thrown away her marriage for collapse in real time. The divorce hearing was scheduled for a Friday in late September. By then, Anna had moved in with her mother permanently. Tommy was with me full-time, thriving in the stability. Anna looked terrible at the hearing. Hair unwashed, makeup minimal, clothes wrinkled. Her lawyer did most of the talking, arguing about asset division and custody arrangements. Catherine demolished them. Presented the evidence of the affair, the stolen money, the lies. Showed the judge how Anna had systematically betrayed her family for a relationship that was now imploding. The judge was a woman in her 60s named Patricia Henderson. She reviewed everything with a sharp eye, asked pointed questions, let Anna's lawyer stumble through weak responses. Then she ruled. I got the house. I got 70% of remaining assets. I got primary custody of Tommy, with Anna getting supervised visitation until he turned 18, which was only 3 years away. She got no spousal support, had to pay back the $20,000 she'd stolen, and had to cover her own legal fees. Anna's lawyer looked shell-shocked. Anna herself just sat there, tears streaming down her face, watching her life disintegrate. I felt nothing, no satisfaction, no vindication. Just a cold, empty space where my feelings used to be. Outside the courthouse, Anna tried one last time. Jack, please. We can still fix this. I know I messed up, but we have history. We have Tommy. Doesn't that mean anything? It meant everything, I said. That's why this hurts so much. You destroyed something real for something fake. That's on you. She walked away, and I watched her get into her mother's car, knowing it was the last time we'd have anything resembling a civil conversation. Catherine put a hand on my shoulder. You did good in there. Not many people come out of divorce this clean. Doesn't feel clean. It never does. But you protected yourself and your son. That's what matters. I drove home, sat in my driveway for 10 minutes, and tried to figure out what came next. 17 years of marriage, gone. A family, dissolved. A life, completely rearranged. Tommy came out and knocked on my window. You okay? Yeah, it's over. Good. Want to order pizza? Sure, buddy. Sounds good. We went inside and life continued, smaller, quieter, but still moving forward. 2 weeks after the divorce was finalized, I got a call from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Jack Hayes? A man's voice, rough, angry. Who's asking? This is Mike. We need to talk. I almost laughed. I don't think we have anything to talk about. You destroyed my business, my reputation, my entire life. Over what, your wife? My ex-wife. And you destroyed those things yourself when you decided sleeping with married women was a business model. You had no right. I had every right. You messed with my family, stole my money through her, ruined my life. I just returned the favor. I'm going to sue you for defamation. Go ahead. Everything I said was true, and I've got proof. You want to drag this into court, give me another chance to publicly humiliate you? Be my guest. Silence on the other end. Then, Anna's broke. You know that, right? She's got nothing. Staying with her mother can barely afford groceries. You happy about that? What I'm happy about is my son having stability and knowing his father won't tolerate betrayal. Anna made her choices. She can live with them. You're a cold bastard. I'm a husband who got cheated on. You expected me to just roll over? Most guys do. I'm not most guys. I hung up and blocked the number. Sat there thinking about Mike's call, about Anna's situation, about how far we'd all fallen from that suburban dream life we used to have. But I didn't feel guilty. I felt vindicated. Tommy came home from school, threw his backpack on the floor. Got an A on my chemistry test. That's great, bud. Proud of you. Can Ryan sleep over Friday? Sure. I'll order Chinese. Normal conversations. Normal life. This was what I'd been fighting for. The chance to move forward without the weight of betrayal crushing us. That night, I got a text from an unknown number. I almost deleted it, but curiosity won. This is Lisa, the receptionist from Mike's. Just wanted you to know he closed the garage, filed for bankruptcy. He's moving to Florida to stay with family. Thought you'd want to know it's finally over. I stared at the message for a long moment. Mike was gone. Anna was broke and isolated. My revenge was complete. But I didn't feel triumphant. I felt tired. I typed back, "Thanks for letting me know, and thanks for reaching out in the first place. You probably saved me from losing even more." She responded immediately, "You deserve to know the truth. Good luck with everything." I set my phone down and poured myself a bourbon. Sat on my back deck watching the sunset, thinking about everything that had happened over the past few months. From finding that lime green condom to standing in a courtroom watching my marriage legally end. From discovering the affair to systematically destroying the man who'd helped wreck my family. It had been brutal, exhausting, but necessary. A month later, Anna called. I recognized the number and almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "What do you want?" I asked. "I need help." Her voice was small, defeated. Nothing like the confident real estate agent who'd waltzed out of my life. "Help with what?" "Money. I can't afford rent. Mom's kicking me out, says I need to stand on my own feet. I have nowhere to go." "You have a job. Use your paycheck." My real estate license got suspended. Too many complaints from clients. I guess word got around about everything. I should have felt sorry for her. Maybe the old me would have. But that guy was gone, buried under months of lies and betrayal. "That's not my problem anymore, Anna. Please, Jack. I know I hurt you, but I'm desperate. I'm living in my car right now. I just need a little help getting back on my feet. You stole $20,000 from our savings, used it to fund your affair. Where'd that money go?" Silence. Then quietly, "Mike needed it. For his garage. For repairs. For his business that I destroyed." "Yeah, I know. So you blew our entire emergency fund on a guy who's now bankrupt and living in Florida. That about sum it up?" "It wasn't supposed to be like this." "What was it supposed to be like? You were going to leave me for him? Run off into the sunset with your mechanic boyfriend? Live happily ever after?" "I don't know. I wasn't thinking clearly. I was unhappy and he made me feel alive, and I made stupid choices." "You made calculated choices, over and over, for months. Don't rewrite history to make yourself the victim." "So that's it? You're just going to let me be homeless?" "You're not my responsibility anymore. You made that clear when you betrayed me. Figure it out." I hung up before she could respond. Sat there with my phone in my hand, waiting to feel something. Guilt, regret, satisfaction, anything. But there was nothing, just an empty space where my marriage used to be. Tommy came downstairs. "Was that Mom?" "Yeah." "What did she want?" "Money." "You give her any?" "No." He nodded. "Good. She doesn't deserve it." "You're pretty harsh on her." "She was harsh on us first. She made her bed, right? Now she gets to lie in it." "Smart kid. Sometimes too smart." "Yeah," I said. "That's exactly right." 3 months after the divorce, I started dating again. Nothing serious, just casual coffee dates with women I met through friends or online. It felt strange, like I was learning a language I'd forgotten. Emily from work set me up with her friend Michelle, a teacher at the local high school. We went to dinner, talked about books and movies and normal things that didn't involve betrayal or revenge. "So you're divorced?" Michelle asked over pasta. "Finalized about 4 months ago." "How's that been?" "Honestly, Harder than I expected, but also easier. Does that make sense? She smiled. Perfect sense. My divorce was the same way, devastating and liberating at the same time. We saw each other a few more times. Nothing clicked romantically, but it was nice to remember I could have conversations with women that didn't end in lies. Tommy graduated from high school that spring, got into Ohio State with a partial scholarship, planning to major in computer science like his old man. At his graduation party, I looked around at the people who'd stuck with us through the divorce. My parents, my brother, Emily, and a few friends from work. Tommy's friends, including Ryan, who'd been a constant presence through the worst of it. Anna wasn't there. Tommy had made that clear. He didn't want her at his celebration. She'd sent a card with $50 inside and a note about how proud she was. He'd thrown both in the trash without reading the whole thing. "You think I'm too hard on her?" he asked me later, after everyone had left and we were cleaning up. "I think you're processing things the way you need to. There's no right answer." "She's still my mom, though." "Yeah, and maybe someday you'll want a relationship with her. But that's your choice, your timeline. Don't let anyone guilt you into forgiving her before you're ready." "Did you forgive her?" I thought about it. No, I don't think I ever will. But I've accepted what happened and moved on. That's different from forgiveness. That's what I want to do. Accept and move on. Then that's what you do. We finished cleaning up, and I thought about how much he'd grown up over the past year. How much we both had, really. A year after the divorce, I got an email from Anna. Subject line: "I'm sorry." I stared at it for a full minute before opening it. "Jack, I know you probably don't want to hear from me. I wouldn't blame you if you deleted this without reading, but I needed to try one more time to apologize. Not because I want anything from you, but because you deserve to hear it. I was selfish. I was cruel. I destroyed our family because I was bored and stupid and thought I deserved more excitement in my life. I threw away something real for something that turned out to be an illusion. Mike wasn't the person I thought he was. He wasn't even a good person. And I wasted our money, our future, and your trust on him. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I just want you to know that I understand what I did was unforgivable. I see that now. I hope you and Tommy are doing well. I hope you found happiness without me. I'm working as a waitress now at a diner in Akron, living in a studio apartment, trying to rebuild. It's not much, but it's honest work, and I'm not making excuses anymore. Just living with the consequences of my choices. I'm sorry, Jack. For everything. I read it twice. Then I closed the laptop and went about my day. I never responded. Because some apologies come too late. Some damage can't be repaired with words, and some people deserve exactly what they get. The final piece fell into place on a Saturday in October, almost exactly 2 years after I'd found that lime green condom. I was at a coffee shop grading some code for a freelance project when I heard a familiar laugh. Looked up and saw Mike sitting at a corner table with a woman I didn't recognize. She was younger, late 20s maybe, wearing expensive clothes and looking at him like he was the most interesting man alive. He hadn't seen me. I could have left, avoided the confrontation, but something made me walk over. "Mike," I said. He looked up, and I watched recognition dawn, then fear. "Jack, hey, relax. I'm not here to start anything, just couldn't help noticing you're back in town. Thought you moved to Florida." "I did, for a while, but things didn't work out. Came back a few months ago." The woman looked between us, confused. "You two know each other?" "Used to," I said. "Mike had an affair with my ex-wife, helped destroy my marriage, but that's ancient history now." Her face went pale. "What? He didn't tell you?" I looked at Mike. "You didn't mention your habit of seducing married women, the garage you lost, the bankruptcy?" Mike stood up. "You need to leave. Actually, I'm a paying customer. You need to leave." I turned to the woman. "But before you do, you should know Mike has a pattern. targets vulnerable women, charms them, takes what he can get, then moves on. Ask him about Lisa, his former receptionist. She's got a whole list of his conquests. "You're insane," Mike said, but his voice shook. "Am I? Or am I just someone who learned from experience?" I looked at the woman again. "Your choice. Stay with him, see how it works out. Or leave now before he ruins your life too." She grabbed her purse and walked out without a word. Mike's face went red. "You son of a—" "Careful. We're in public. And unlike you, I've got witnesses and a clean record. You want to take a swing at me? Go ahead. Give me another lawsuit to enjoy." He didn't swing, just stood there, fists clenched, vibrating with rage. "Stay out of my life," he said through gritted teeth. "Happy to, long as you stay out of mine. We clear?" He grabbed his jacket and stormed out, and I went back to my coffee, feeling lighter than I had in months, because that was closure. That was the moment I realized I'd won completely. Mike was broke, alone, and still running the same scams that had destroyed him the first time. Anna was waitressing in Akron, living with her choices. And me? I was fine. Better than fine. I had my son, my house, my dignity. I'd taken the worst betrayal imaginable and turned it into a lesson about standing up for yourself. Some people might say I went too far. That destroying Mike's business was excessive. That cutting Anna off completely was cruel. But those people didn't find condoms in their car. Didn't watch their wife lie to their face for months. Didn't have $20,000 stolen from their future. I did what I had to do. Nothing more, nothing less. The thing about revenge is it doesn't actually fix anything. It doesn't heal the wound or erase the betrayal. It just makes you feel like you fought back instead of rolling over. And sometimes, that's enough. But life has a funny way of not letting things stay buried. About 6 months after that coffee shop confrontation with Mike, I got a call that changed everything again. It was from a detective named Emily Rodriguez. Wait, no. The prompt said no Rodriguez. Detective Emily F. Palmer. She was investigating fraud allegations against Mike's old garage. "Mr. Hayes, I understand you filed complaints against Mike Jennings and his business approximately 2 years ago," she said over the phone. "That's correct. We've uncovered evidence that Mr. Jennings was running an insurance fraud scheme through his garage. Fake repairs, inflated estimates, kickbacks from body shops. We're building a criminal case, and your ex-wife's name came up in the financial records. I was hoping you might have information that could help." I sat down slowly. "What kind of information?" "Bank transfers, emails, anything showing financial transactions between your ex-wife and Mr. Jennings. The timeline matches up with your divorce proceedings." "How much money are we talking about?" "Over $100,000 moved through various accounts over an 18-month period. Some of it appears to be insurance payouts for phantom repairs. Some of it looks like straight-up money laundering." The $20,000 Anna had stolen suddenly made a lot more sense. She hadn't just been funding a romance. She'd been funding a criminal enterprise. "I have bank statements," I said. "And I can testify about the $20,000 she took from our savings. My divorce attorney has all the documentation. That would be extremely helpful, Mr. Hayes. Would you be willing to come down to the station and give a formal statement?" "Absolutely." I hung up and sat there, processing. Anna hadn't just cheated and lied. She'd been involved in fraud, insurance fraud, which carried serious prison time if convicted. Part of me felt vindicated. Part of me felt sick. But mostly, I felt a grim satisfaction that the truth was finally, completely coming out. I gave my statement to Detective Palmer the next day. Brought copies of everything. Bank statements, credit card records, emails, text logs. 2 years of documentation that showed exactly how Anna had funneled money to Mike. "This is excellent," Palmer said, reviewing the files. "Very thorough. You keep good records, Mr. Hayes." "IT background. Documentation is kind of my thing. Lucky for us. This fills in a lot of gaps in our case." She looked up from the papers. I should warn you, we'll likely be arresting both Mr. Jennings and your ex-wife in the next few weeks. There might be media attention. Small-town fraud cases sometimes make the local news. I can handle it. And your son? How old is he now? 19. He's at Ohio State. You might want to give him a heads up before the arrests happen. These things can be traumatic, even for adult children. I thanked her and left, already dreading the conversation I'd have to have with Tommy. That night, I called him. He was in his dorm room, probably procrastinating on homework, judging by the video game sounds in the background. Hey, Dad. What's up? Need to talk to you about something. It's about your mom. The game sounds stopped. What now? She's probably going to be arrested. Fraud charges. Turns out she and Mike were running some kind of insurance scam through his garage. Long silence. Then, are you serious? Detective called me today. They've been investigating for months. I gave them all the financial records from the divorce. Jesus Christ. Mom's actually going to jail? Maybe. Depends on what kind of deal her lawyer cuts. But yeah, it's serious. Another silence. I could hear him breathing, processing. You okay? I asked. I don't know. I mean, I'm not surprised. She already stole from us, lied to everyone, destroyed our family. Why not commit fraud too? Tommy, I'm serious, Dad. At this point, nothing she does surprises me. She made her choices. Now she gets to live with them. He sounded so much older than 19, so much harder than a kid should be. I hated that Anna had done that to him, forced him to grow up cynical and distrustful. Just wanted you to hear it from me first, I said, before it hits the news. Thanks, I appreciate it. He paused. You doing okay with all this? Yeah, actually, I'm fine. Feels like the final chapter, you know? Everything coming to light. Good. She deserves whatever happens. We talked for a few more minutes about school and his classes and normal things that had nothing to do with fraud or betrayal, but I could hear the tension in his voice, the anger he was trying to suppress. Anna had broken more than just our marriage. She'd broken our son's ability to trust people. The arrests happened on a Tuesday morning. I was at work when my phone started blowing up with texts from people I hadn't heard from in years. Did you see the news? Holy shit, is that your ex-wife? Dude, turn on Channel 6. I pulled up the local news website. There it was, front page. Local residents arrested in insurance fraud scheme. 2 mugshots. Mike looking angry and defiant. Anna looking terrified, makeup smeared, hair disheveled. The article detailed the charges. Wire fraud, insurance fraud, money laundering. Combined, they were looking at potential sentences of 10 to 15 years if convicted. My phone rang. Catherine Mills, my divorce attorney. You seeing this? She asked. Yeah, just pulled it up. The prosecutor's office called me. They want to know if you'd be willing to testify if this goes to trial. I already told Detective Palmer I would. Good, because this could actually help you. If Anna gets convicted, you might have grounds to sue for the $20,000 she stole. Claim it was part of the fraud scheme. Seek restitution through the criminal case. I just want this over with, Catherine. I understand. But you should know your options. This is a chance to get full justice. After we hung up, I sat at my desk staring at Anna's mugshot. She looked nothing like the confident real estate agent who'd come home from that conference 2 years ago. She looked broken, defeated, destroyed. I should have felt triumphant. This was everything I'd wanted. Complete and total vindication. Anna facing real consequences for her actions. But mostly, I just felt tired. The trial happened 6 months later. Mike took a plea deal. 8 years in federal prison in exchange for testimony against Anna. Turned out he was the mastermind, and Anna had been a willing participant, but not the brains of the operation. Anna's lawyer tried to paint her as a victim. Said Mike had manipulated her, taken advantage of her vulnerability, convinced her to help him. The prosecutor shredded that defense. I testified on the 3rd day, walked through the timeline of the affair, the stolen money, how I'd documented everything. Anna's lawyer tried to make me look vindictive, like I was out for revenge. Isn't it true, Mr. Hayes, that you systematically destroyed Mr. Jennings's business after discovering the affair? He asked. I filed legitimate complaints with regulatory agencies and review sites. Everything I said was truthful. But your intent was to ruin him, wasn't it? My intent was to hold him accountable for his actions. If that ruined him, that's a consequence of what he did, not what I did. The judge sustained several objections to the lawyer's line of questioning. I walked out of that courtroom feeling like I'd won round 2. The jury deliberated for 6 hours, found Anna guilty on all counts. Sentencing happened 2 weeks later. The judge gave her 5 years in federal prison, 3 years probation after release, and ordered her to pay restitution of $75,000 to the insurance companies she'd defrauded. I wasn't in the courtroom for sentencing. Didn't need to be. Catherine called me with the news. It's over, she said. Finally, completely over. Yeah, I said. It is. Tommy took the news stoically. 5 years. That's a long time. It is. Think she'll actually serve all of it? Federal time, you serve at least 85%, so probably 4 years minimum. Good. He went back to his homework, and I went back to my life, feeling like I'd just closed a book I'd been reading for 3 years. Life moved on. Rachel and I got more serious. She moved in after a year of dating, brought her 2 kids from her first marriage, a girl and a boy, 12 and 14. The house got louder, messier, more chaotic. I liked it. Tommy graduated from Ohio State with honors, got a job at a tech startup in Austin. We talked every week, sometimes about important things, mostly about nothing. He was doing well, building a life, moving forward. He never visited Anna in prison, never wrote her letters. As far as I knew, they had 0 contact. You think that's healthy? Rachel asked me one night after Tommy had called. I think he's processing trauma the way he needs to. Can't force forgiveness. But she's still his mother. Yeah, and she destroyed his family and went to prison for fraud. Some things don't get forgiven just because of biology. Rachel dropped it, but I could tell she thought I should push Tommy to reconcile. She came from one of those families where everyone forgave everyone else no matter what, where blood was thicker than water, and you worked through problems together. My family was different now. We'd been forged in betrayal and rebuilt on honesty. We didn't forgive easily, but we were loyal to each other in ways that mattered. Anna got out of prison after serving 4 years. I heard about it through a mutual acquaintance who still kept in touch with her mother. She was living in Cincinnati, working at a grocery store, trying to stay clean and rebuild. She sent Tommy a letter. He showed it to me. 6 pages of apologies and explanations and hopes for reconciliation. He threw it away without responding. You okay with that? I asked. I don't owe her anything, Dad. She made her choices. I'm making mine. Fair enough. Mike got out 2 years after Anna, served his full 8 years. I heard he moved to Nevada, working construction, staying off the grid. Good. Hope I never see or hear from him again. I'm 47 now. Rachel and I got married last year. Small ceremony, just family and close friends. Tommy was my best man, gave a speech about second chances and new beginnings that had everyone crying. I still think about that lime green condom sometimes, about how one stupid piece of evidence unraveled an entire life, about how close I came to missing it, to living in ignorant bliss while my world burned down around me. But I didn't miss it. I found it, and I followed every thread, and I tore down everything built on lies and rebuilt something real. Anna reached out one more time, about 6 months ago, email to my work address, which took some effort to find. Jack, I know you probably don't want to hear from me. I know I destroyed everything we built and hurt you and Tommy in ways I can't fix. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I finally understand what I threw away. You were a good husband, a good father. You deserved so much better than what I gave you. I hope you found happiness. I hope Tommy's doing well. I hope someday he might give me a chance to apologize in person. But if not, I understand. Some things can't be repaired. Take care of yourself. Anna. I read it once, then archived it without responding, because some bridges, once burned, should stay that way. The neighborhood where Anna and I used to live changed over the years. Young families moved in, the houses got renovated, the streets got repaved. I drove through there sometimes on my way to visit my parents, saw the life that continued without us. Our old house was barely recognizable. New owners had painted it blue, added a deck, landscaped the yard. The maple tree in the front, where Tommy had built a tree house when he was 8, was gone, cut down to make room for a driveway expansion. I didn't feel nostalgic seeing it, didn't feel loss or regret, just a kind of distant acknowledgement that this used to be my life, and now it wasn't. Rachel and I bought a house in a different part of town. 4 bedrooms, big kitchen, finished basement. Her kids had their own space, and Tommy had a room for when he visited. It felt like a real home in a way the old house never had, not even before everything fell apart. We hosted Thanksgiving last year. My parents, Rachel's parents, her ex-husband and his new wife, because they were all civilized about co-parenting, Tommy and his girlfriend, Rachel's kids, a couple of close friends. 20 people crammed around a table meant for 12, laughing and telling stories and passing dishes. At one point, Rachel squeezed my hand under the table. "You happy?" she whispered. "Yeah," I said. "I really am." And I was. Not because I'd gotten revenge on Anna and Mike, not because they'd face consequences, but because I'd survived betrayal and came out the other side capable of trusting again, loving again, building something new. That was the real victory. Not the divorce settlement or the criminal convictions, but the fact that I was sitting at a table full of people who cared about me, eating good food, making new memories that had nothing to do with lime green condoms or insurance fraud or late-night surveillance missions. The final piece came on a random Thursday afternoon. I was at work, halfway through debugging a security protocol, when I got a LinkedIn message from someone named Jennifer Patterson. "Mr. Hayes, you don't know me, but I married Mike Jennings 3 months ago. I just found out about his past, about the fraud, about the affairs. I'm looking for information about what happened because he lied to me about everything. I'm filing for divorce, but I need evidence of his pattern of behavior. Would you be willing to talk?" I stared at the message for a long time. Mike was married again, already back to his old patterns, already lying to someone new. Part of me wanted to ignore it. I'd moved on, built a new life, didn't need to dig up old graves. But then I thought about this woman, Jennifer, whoever she was. Thought about how she was probably where I'd been 3 years ago, confused, betrayed, looking for answers. I wrote back, "Happy to talk. Here's my number." We spoke that evening. Jennifer was 32, worked as a dental hygienist, met Mike at a gym in Reno. He'd told her he was a consultant, never mentioned the prison time or the fraud or any of it. "He seemed so normal," she said, voice breaking. "So nice. I can't believe I fell for it." Don't beat yourself up. Guys like Mike are professionals. They're good at hiding who they really are. Did you ever see it coming? With your wife? No, I trusted her completely. Thought we had a good marriage. Then I found evidence she was cheating, and everything unraveled from there. What did you do? I documented everything, built an airtight case, took her to court and won. Then she got arrested for fraud, and that was the final nail in the coffin. Jesus. And you're okay now? I'm married to someone wonderful. My son's doing great. I've got a good life. It took time, but yeah, I'm okay. She was quiet for a moment. Thank you for talking to me. I feel less crazy knowing I'm not the first person he did this to. You're not, and you won't be the last unless someone stops him. Document everything, get a good lawyer, protect yourself. That's the best advice I can give. I will. Thank you. After we hung up, I told Rachel about the conversation. You think he'll ever change? She asked. No. Guys like Mike don't change. They just find new victims. That's depressing. It's realistic. But the good news is, people like Jennifer have resources now. She's got my testimony, the public record of his conviction, evidence of his patterns. She'll be fine. Rachel curled up against me on the couch. You're a good person, you know that? I'm a person who learned the hard way how to protect himself and others. That's different. Still good. I kissed the top of her head and didn't argue. Tommy got engaged last spring to a woman named Sophia, who worked in marketing at his tech company. She was smart, funny, had her shit together in a way that made me think maybe my son had learned what to look for in a partner. They came to visit over 4th of July weekend, sat in our backyard drinking beer while Rachel grilled burgers, and for the first time in years, everything felt completely normal. So when's the wedding? Rachel asked. Next June, Sophia said. Small ceremony, just family and close friends. We're thinking destination, maybe Colorado. That sounds beautiful. Tommy looked at me. You'll be there, right? Course I will. Wouldn't miss it. What about Mom? Sophia asked carefully. Are you inviting her? Tommy's jaw tightened. No. Baby, she's still your mother. She made her choices. I'm making mine. End of discussion. Sophia backed off, but I could see the concern in her eyes. She came from a close family, didn't understand the kind of damage that makes reconciliation impossible. After they left, Rachel brought it up again. He's never going to forgive her, is he? Probably not. Does that worry you? I thought about it. Used to. But now, I think he's just protecting himself. Anna hurt him in ways that don't heal. Maybe someday he'll feel differently, but that's his choice to make. What about you? Have you forgiven her? No. Think you ever will? No. She nodded like that made sense, because it did. Some betrayals are too deep, too fundamental. They change who you are at a cellular level. You don't forgive them. You just learn to live with the scar tissue. I ran into Anna's mother, Diane, at a grocery store about a year after Anna got out of prison. She was in the produce section, looking older and smaller than I remembered. She saw me and froze. Jack. Diane. Awkward silence. Shoppers moved around us, oblivious to the history crackling in the air. How are you? She asked finally. Good. Remarried. Happy. I heard. I'm glad. More silence. Anna asks about you sometimes, Diane said. About Tommy. She misses you both terribly. That's unfortunate for her. Diane's face hardened. She made mistakes, Jack. But she's paid for them. Prison. Losing everything. Losing her family. Don't you think that's enough? I think consequences are proportional to actions. She committed fraud and destroyed a family. She served time for the fraud. The family thing? That's permanent. You're so cold. I'm realistic. Anna made choices that had irreversible consequences. I didn't create those consequences. I just refused to pretend they didn't matter. She's my daughter. And she's my ex-wife who cheated on me, stole from me, and went to prison for fraud. Those are facts, Diane. Not opinions. She looked at me with something like hatred. I hope you're happy with yourself. I am. Genuinely. She walked away, and I finished my shopping, feeling nothing about the encounter. Diane had always blamed me for the divorce, always thought I should have been more forgiving, more understanding. But I'd learned the hard way that understanding doesn't mean accepting, and forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. Life continued. Rachel's kids graduated high school. Her son went to trade school for welding. Her daughter got into nursing school. Tommy and Sophia got married in Aspen, ceremony on a mountain with about 40 people in attendance. It was perfect. I'm 50 now. Half a century. Feels weird saying it. I still work in IT, though I've moved up to a senior analyst position. Still troubleshoot problems, still explain to people why security matters. The work is stable, predictable, boring in the best possible way. Rachel and I take trips now. Went to Italy last year, driving through Tuscany, eating pasta and drinking wine and acting like tourists. This year we're thinking Japan. She wants to see the cherry blossoms, and I want to eat authentic ramen. Simple pleasures. Simple life. I don't think about Anna much anymore. She's become a footnote in my personal history, a chapter that ended badly but led to better things. Sometimes I wonder if she thinks about that lime green condom, about how one careless moment unraveled everything. Probably not. People like Anna don't do that kind of self-reflection. They move forward, make new mistakes, hurt new people. But me, I learned. I learned to pay attention, to trust my instincts, to document everything. I learned that betrayal doesn't define you unless you let it. I learned that revenge is satisfying, but moving on is better. Most importantly, I learned that you can survive the worst thing you think can happen to you and come out stronger on the other side. The absolute final chapter came on a cold December morning, 5 years after the divorce was finalized. I was shoveling snow from the driveway when a car pulled up. Didn't recognize it at first, but then the driver got out. Anna. She looked different. Older, thinner, hair shorter and graying. Prison and poverty had left their marks. "Jack," she said, staying by her car like she wasn't sure if she was welcome. "Anna, what are you doing here?" "I wanted to talk. Just for a minute. I promise I'll leave right after." I should have told her to go, should have gone inside and closed the door. But curiosity won out. "Talk." She wrapped her coat tighter around herself. "I'm not here to ask for anything. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Really, truly sorry. For everything I did to you and Tommy. For the lies and the theft and the fraud. For destroying our family. You deserve so much better than what I gave you." "Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say? That I forgive you? I don't. That I understand? I don't. You made choices that destroyed everything, and now we're both living with the consequences." She nodded, tears in her eyes. "I know. I just needed you to hear me say it. Needed to apologize in person, not through an email or a letter." "Fine. You apologized. Now what?" "Now nothing. I leave you alone. I stay out of your life. I accept that I lost you and Tommy forever because of what I did." "Good. That's the right call." She turned to go, then stopped. "Are you happy? Really?" "Yes." "Good. You deserve to be happy." She got back in her car and drove away, and I stood there in my driveway with a snow shovel in my hands, watching her disappear down the street for the last time. Rachel came out onto the porch. "Was that her?" "Yeah." "You okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine." She apologized. I accepted it. We moved on. "That's it?" "That's it." Because what else was there to say? Some stories don't end with dramatic confrontations or tearful reunions. They just end. Quietly, simply, with both parties walking away and getting on with their lives. And that's exactly what I did. I finished shoveling the driveway, went inside where it was warm, made coffee with my wife, and planned our trip to Japan. The past was the past. I dealt with it, survived it, learned from it. Now I was just living my life, making new memories, building new traditions with people who actually gave a damn. That lime green condom had been the beginning of the end, but it had also been the beginning of something better. A life built on honesty instead of lies. Trust that was earned instead of assumed. Love that was real instead of convenient. I'd lost a marriage, but I'd gained myself back. And in the end, that was worth more than anything Anna or Mike could have taken from me.